Hi everybody and welcome back to Lost Genre Reddit Stories. This post is from the subreddit Relationship Advice and it's by user Huntybum. I'm 29 female divorcing my husband 28 male for suggesting an open marriage. Complicated feelings. My husband 28 male and I 29 female have been together for 9 years, married for 7. We got a not-so-classic shotgun wedding to give ourselves better chances of receiving custody of his half-sister, 10 female, when their mom suddenly passed away. Despite only being 20 and 21 years old, we did receive full legal custody over her absent father. This information isn't super relevant to the current situation, but it really sets the tone of our relationship with the sacrifices we made together and the things we each had to give up personally to raise this beautiful little girl. We don't have any children together, but his sister is now 17 and moved in with an older, more financially privileged aunt last year. Over the past year of this newfound alone time, I feel like we have flourished with each other personally and as a couple. We never fight, arguments are rare, and we are pretty good at coming to an understanding and apologizing when necessary. Basically, I feel we had a pretty healthy relationship. We each do little things for each other. I receive flowers no less than 10 times a year. We go on little vacations together and are generally really good. I guess a bit of the spark was sputtering out for a while, but I feel like that's normal for a relationship as long as ours. Fast forward to this past October. My husband seems like he has been depressed, which is normal for this time of year because of the timing of losing both his mom and dad into different years around the same time. The holidays are tough for him, so I get it and try to be there for him. Before we met, he had been in a dark self-ending phase, so I took his mental health very seriously. Anyway, he sits me down to have a serious conversation and starts it by saying he wants to open up our relationship. I felt my heart drop to my stomach but stayed silent and let him talk. He doesn't go into why, just jumps right into rules and explains how he wants me to find someone first before he starts looking for someone himself. When I asked him why, he couldn't explain it and fumbled his words. I asked him if he already had someone in mind for himself, and of course, he denied it. I couldn't help it. I definitely blew up. This proposal totally blindsided me. I slept on the couch after my outburst, and he didn't even try to come after me to explain anything, which kind of made me feel worse. I had never felt so unwanted in my life than in that moment. I have never given the impression that I was the kind of girl to be open to that kind of relationship. I will never judge anyone for wanting to live that kind of life, but it's just not for me. He went to work the next day, but I had the day off and really thought about my situation. After crying for hours, I realized that this was the end of our marriage. Even suggesting an open marriage was a deal breaker for me, I realized. While he was at work, I moved all of his stuff out of our bedroom into his sister's old room, technically a spare room now. He came home from work ready to talk it out. After talking through more of why he wants this, I've come to realize several things. He is way kinkier than he lets on and is disappointed with our bedroom life. He knows I'm not on the same level and doesn't want to push me past my boundaries to try things he knows I won't like. When I asked how he knows I won't like to try these new things, he explained they are an escalation of things he already knows I'm not down for but won't go into specifics. He is also unhappy with how infrequently we have sex, but has never really put an effort to change anything regarding it. Just complained over and over and expected me just to be ready to do the deed any time of the day. He feels we have nothing in common now that his sister is gone. For context, he is more of an outdoorsy type, whereas I like to stay inside and read or play video games. I do venture out once in a while to do things he likes together and genuinely enjoy them myself when I go, like kayaking and skiing. I do understand that this isn't as often as he would like though. Because we got married so young, there are a lot of things neither of us really got to experience or try, mostly sexually. He is mourning the loss of his 20s and never getting to sleep around and explore his kinks. Part of the rules, he explained, was that we wouldn't technically be sleeping around with whoever we wanted. He called it an open marriage, but described it more as polyamory, where we would each have a boyfriend or girlfriend of our own, go on dates, and do things together. Someone we were each allowed to love and be with sexually. An emotional connection was pivotal for him, which broke my heart to pieces. During our talk, I told him I would never be able to look at him the same. I would never be enough for him, and he was basically trying to get a pass for guilt-free cheating in my eyes. I told him it sounded like he wanted to be with someone else without ever leaving the comfort of his marriage, knowing he could date around and not worry if those relationships would fail because he could just come home to me. He tried denying these things, saying he wanted to explore himself sexually but didn't want to lose me in the process. He tried getting me to agree to marriage counseling to talk about the open marriage concept. I told him that just proposing an open marriage was grounds for divorce for me, and I wasn't willing to go to a counselor for them to gang up on me to try to bully me into trying it. I know in reality that never would have happened, but emotions were high at the moment. Because I told him I could never see him the same and how badly this crushed any self-confidence I may have had, he doubled down. He said if we go back into a relationship and pretend this never happened, then he would end up cheating on me. For him, it was open marriage or nothing. I chose nothing. Divorce papers were filed exactly 1 week later. He was very hurt, angry that I could jump right to divorce and kick him out of our bedroom so fast. But I refused to be a second choice or have to fight for his attention. I can't believe he is okay with the idea of another person being inside of me. Is he willing to just give me up to explore his options? I can't believe I wasted so much of my time with him, helping him heal his family and raise his sister. I feel completely used. Advice? Did I overreact? Should I have waited longer before filing for divorce? Should I have just gone to marriage counseling, or was my gut instinct correct about the marriage being over? I still love and care about him, but my brain is screaming to be logical. We still live together while we are trying to figure out how to split everything, but now he is being super toxic and petty, saying hurtful things and then begging for personal details about my life. I need to get out of this house. How do I cope with these complicated feelings? Wow, OP, your future ex-husband is next level gross. If you disagree with what he says and just want to pretend this never happened, then he would end up cheating on you? Yeah, that's the cherry on top of this whole crap cake. OP, no, you did not overreact. This is a deal breaker for you and it's done, filed. You don't need to overthink it. You don't need to go to counseling. You made the right decision. If he wants to go explore his kinks or recover his 20s or whatever the F he needs to do, fine, he can go do it, but not attached to you, like you said. He wants to start a completely new relationship with somebody else and then just come home to you in case something fails. He's talking about you guys having a boyfriend and a girlfriend independent from each other that you can love and have sex with, go on dates and all that kind of stuff. Well, that's a complete relationship while still being married to you. No. Now, of course, he has every right to want this, just as you have every right to tell him it's done, over, and you're out. So again, no OP, you are not overreacting, and please follow through with this. Don't stop, don't get dragged back in, don't go to couples counseling. If you need counseling or therapy, just for you. That's it. And what do you guys think about this? Do you agree with OP's reaction? Let me know in the comment section, and now let's move on to the community comments to see what they said. Mahi says, quote, he said if we go back into a relationship and pretend this never happened, then he would end up cheating on me, end quote. Continue on with the divorce. I wouldn't be surprised if there's someone on the side. Imstb says, you've done the right thing and have handled this the best way you know how. I can't imagine any of this has been easy, but you're doing a great job navigating it. Don't question yourself. Magic Carpet 5846 says, you're a genuine effing queen and I'm so damn impressed that someone who got married so young and has so little relationship experience was still able to see this crap man for the person he is. You're doing so effing good and you're way ahead of the curve. You're going to be just fine and find someone who will worship you in the way you want and deserve. Most women in your position would have stayed and lost their dignity and their marriage. You know your worth. he'll realize he effed up and it will be too late. Do not for a second give him the satisfaction of thinking you think this man is at all worth degrading yourself for. He isn't. He proved that to you, and you and I both know that he has someone in mind and probably has her waiting on the sidelines patiently until you give the go-ahead. Additional information from OP's comments. In actuality, my husband is not a polyamorous person, or at least he claims he isn't. He told me he doesn't want that for future relationships at all, just with me so he can explore his kinks without losing me or making me uncomfortable in the bedroom. I think that sentiment was nice, maybe? I don't know. Regardless, proposing an open marriage is still a deal breaker for me, so it doesn't really matter in the end anyway. The only real kink I know about and try to participate in when I'm comfortable is his love of having sex in public. Is that called exhibitionism? I'm not trying to catch a felony or a spot on the sex offenders list, so I'm really choosy about where and when this happens. He loves car and outdoor sex, but I've read and heard of so many horror stories about couples getting caught in risque situations. He has told me he even had sex with an ex in a Walmart changing room. I'm sorry, but that is so trashy to me. I can't get on board to having sex where someone may see or hear us. I never once thought that he had already slept with someone. We have both been cheated on in the past, really in our teens, but still, and have agreed that we are better than that and would never subject someone else to being cheated on. However, the more comments I get on this subject, it's making me really paranoid, but you can bet your ass I'm scheduling getting tested as soon as possible to make sure I'm clean. Our split has been pretty amicable in regards to evenly splitting assets and furniture. If I come back with an STD that's proof he cheated before the open marriage talk, that would change everything for me. I'm here because I wanted unbiased opinions. I get that he is trying to manipulate the situation and has been gaslighting me about things to the point that I've got it on video. All these positive comments have really validated me and made me feel so much more secure that I'm doing the right thing. Thank you for reading and commenting. Alright, well, the community agrees. OP is not at all overreacting. Her husband is a scumbag that is trying to get a free pass for cheating, and she's just not having any of it. So it's time that we move on to the update to see how the story ends. But as usual at this point in the video, I ask that if you're enjoying it, don't forget to leave a like or comment because it really does help me out. And if you want to keep enjoying my videos without having to look for them, then just go ahead and subscribe and they'll show up on your feed. Now, let's move on to that update. Hello all, I wanted to say thank you for all the support. As for the update, where do I even start? It has been over the required 90 days since initially filing for divorce before it can be deemed official. I am going to the courthouse tomorrow to file the remaining paperwork. We had an easy, uncontested divorce. We agreed on how to split things with pretty much everything, and he didn't even give me a hard time about taking our 2 cats, who are quite attached to me. He was always the spare human. I bought a small home for myself and said 2 cats and moved a few days ago. I won't lie, this whole process was very tough for me emotionally. It was especially hard considering he was constantly hot and then cold. He would jump from name calling and trying to control who came over to our house to find reasons to call me on the phone all day and joking around with me like nothing was wrong. I feel like I have emotional whiplash from the last 3 months of living with him while looking for a new place to live. At one point, he came home to see me eating a meal I just cooked during a break from packing. It was pretty disorganized, but I was in the middle of doing multiple things at the same time. He saw the mess and started yelling at me for it and throwing my things around the kitchen. Another day, he texted me asking me why I wasn't interested in where he had been spending his days off, and later sheepishly asking if he would drop the open marriage demand and would ever consider trying again. Of course, I told him we were way past that, considering the multiple times he promised he would cheat on me if we didn't open the marriage. Also, I did get STD tested and came back clean as a whistle. I don't think he was already cheating, but he is damned embarrassed about this whole thing. He wants me to tell people he cheated on me when they ask why we are getting a divorce instead of telling the truth about the matter. I'm not sure what the correct course of action is for that. The truth, always the truth. He was made aware in advance that after I moved and the divorce was finalized, I would be going no contact. I did all the legwork to make this happen, including getting all divorce papers and taxes filed, separating all bills and bank accounts, hiding the address to my new home, blocking him on all social media, and I will be even changing my phone number once everything is finalized. He feels that my going no contact is vindictive. No matter what he has said and done to hurt me, I still have a lot of love for this man. He doesn't deserve it, I know, but that is exactly why I need to go no contact. It's for my peace and to maintain some semblance of self-respect. I can't tell him that because I don't want to give him, or myself to be honest, any false hope that we could work things out. I have no plans to be with anyone else in the near or distant future. I just want to work on building my confidence and get into a healthier mindset. I haven't gotten to counseling yet, as many have suggested. I was in survival mode for the last 3 months so I could get out of that hellish situation. Now that I'm in my new house and getting unpacked, I'm sure I will be able to relax enough to start feeling better soon. And if I don't, I have every intention of seeking professional help. I have a huge support network of friends and family. Our shared friends were all on my side as well. Not that there is a true right or wrong in a situation like this, but one of his best friends telling him this was the biggest mistake of his life was incredibly validating. The only thing I regret from my relationship with him is staying as long as I did despite all the red flags I ignored throughout the years. All I know is that I'm feeling a mix of relief and grief. I just need some time to allow myself to heal. Out of our many conversations, he told me that 99% of open marriages fail because they were open for failing marriages, and that since we had a great relationship, we would have been fine. I tried explaining to him that I learned from some of you guys that what he suggested was not an open marriage, but it was parallel polyamory, and it was the most difficult form of polyamory to achieve. He didn't care, he was only focused on convincing me to work it out with him. For me, there is nothing to work out. He wants to be with someone else and to fall in love again. So I am giving him the freedom to do that, but gracefully stepping back. As many have said, you don't get to have your cake and eat it too. There isn't much more to say on the matter. I said I was leaving, and I did it. Here's to hoping 2024 is my year. Well, OP, once again, respect. You are doing things absolutely right. You've covered all your bases, you went through with a divorce, you didn't play the pick-me game or anything like that. Such a solid spine and follow-through, it's admirable. Like some commenter said, you are way ahead of the game. I'm pretty sure that 2024 is going to be a great year for you. So on that note, here's wishing you the best in the future, OP. Thank you so much for sharing and take care. And now let's finish this video with a mood booster post. This post is from the subreddit Pro Revenge and it's by user Wild Billy Redneck. Lunch thieves just dessert. Years ago, I had a lunch thief. I complained about it 12 times to HR about people stealing my lunch, mandatory reporting every third or fourth instance. I was seething, not a damn thing was being done, and I still had to buy something to eat. I was bitching to my doctor at the yearly checkup and he got a smile. So, you're constipated then? I was dumb and said, no, why? He wrote me a prescription for some holy F laxative with instructions to mix it with your meal for maximum effect. At which point, I knew the plan. I wish I could say they crapped their pants, but no, they ate my sandwich with special avocado sauce. About an hour after lunch, I went to HR and reported 2 things. 1, my lunch was stolen again, and 2, my medication was stolen. HR said, so you got hit by the lunch thief again and your medicine was in the bag? And I go, yes, I have had some digestive problems and my doctor prescribed a powerful laxative and advised me to mix it in with my midday meal. HR went white. You what? I smiled and said, I mixed in a prescription-grade laxative with my food per doctor's orders. Well, being that stealing prescribed medication is a criminal offense, the police were called and found the lead man from a department over, absolutely crapping his brains out. He was furious and accused me of poisoning his food. I asked, at which point did you get the idea that food was for you? Then I continued, furthermore, now I no longer have the medication I was prescribed for my condition. It was about this time he knew he effed up and shut his mouth until he got a lawyer. Or so I'm told. Small town. One of my buddies from high school took his position. I can make and eat my hoagies and I have no clue where the lunch thief went after his fines and community service. Nicely done, OP. And of course, nicely done to your doctor for the big leg up. Wow, he went above and beyond helping you out. That is awesome. Thank you so much for sharing, OP. And that's it for today's video. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch it. Now, if you've gotten to this point in the video, I assume that you like these stories that I'm reading out. So here are a couple more that you might enjoy. And if you don't have any time to watch another story right now, save it for later. And also, don't forget to hit that subscribe button.